Welcome to Divine Feminine Rising with Mez Delene. I'm Mez Delene, and my intention with this podcast is to entertain, educate, and illuminate as I share the power and magic of the Divine Feminine. Thank you so much for being here. I'm grateful for your time and attention. This episode is going to be about the triple goddess. And normally I make a lot of notes, do a lot of research, and I have pages of written material before I start an episode of my podcast. This week, however, I have nothing like that. This last weekend, I had my Radiant Wellness Fair on the Oregon coast where I live, and it was a beautiful event full of love and light. People who came to do readings and to vend their artwork and beautiful jewelry and so forth all came from a place of service. All of us there have the goal of bringing more love and light into the world, and the people who came to the event felt that energy. I got so much feedback. I was touched so deeply by some of the things that people said to me, and it just filled my heart and it filled my soul. It also is a very big production, and I put a lot of energy into it and ended up feeling really tired, and I just couldn't think about what I wanted to talk about on this episode. And so today I went inside and I asked for guidance, which is what I encourage other people to do. Talk to your angels, talk to your spirit guides, talk to your ascended master goddess energies that are there for you. And what came through really clearly after struggling for hours and hours to think of a topic, the triple goddess came through. And instead of making a lot of notes and spending a lot of time preparing, I decided to just talk. I have lived all those stages of life that the triple goddess represents. The triple goddess represents the Maiden, Mother, and Crone, the three main stages of a woman's life. So the Maiden represents innocence, of course, virginity, and joy, happiness, potential. To me, the Maiden represents potential. She has her whole life in front of her. She can be whoever she wants to be. She can become a mother who gives birth to more humans, or she can become a mother of creation of something else, maybe a business, a new charity, a nonprofit, or explorer. She can be anything she wants. So as maidens, we dream about the future. Some people dream about the handsome prince. Some people dream about becoming a famous singer or being a doctor or whatever. As young girls, we have our dreams for the future. I met a young girl this last weekend, and she was 9, and she had her aura photo taken. And I said, "Did you know you're a healer?" And she shook her head, yes. And I said, "So do you like helping people?" And she said, "I like helping animals." It was the most precious thing. This little girl was she was precious, and her energy was innocence and delight, and definitely unlimited potential. So, in some cultures, the maiden is the ideal. Men are told that marrying a maiden is the most important thing, or virgin, in other words. And women are told that they need to maintain their virginity in order to get a man. And in other cultures, people have different beliefs, and women aren't considered marriageable until they prove they can procreate. Despite any of the cultural belief systems, the maiden is the young woman who, in my mind, she goes through puberty and she blossoms into womanhood. And as she blossoms into womanhood, then she enters into the mother stage of a woman's life. And motherhood is a time of sexuality, procreation, fertility. Fertility is the big deal of motherhood. In the past, the mother represented fertility, and fertility was about more than having babies. It was about having fertile crops and just fertility for the clan or the tribe, right? Where what they want to grow and manifest has fertility. So whether it's abundance or love or food, there is a fertility aspect to that. And the mother stage of the woman's life revolves around that. And so in my own life, as a mother, I did have children, and it was the most empowering thing that ever happened to me. As a maiden, I didn't have a good life, and I didn't like being a woman. I felt that if I wasn't a woman, that maybe I'd be treated better, have more opportunities, and so forth and so forth. However, once I felt life growing inside of my belly, it completely shifted me. It shifted me so powerfully and so profoundly that I don't even have words for it. I just knew that I just knew that I was powerful, that I loved being a woman. And I know that some women do not like pregnancy. They don't like how they feel during pregnancy. And for me, it was just the opposite. I was sick a lot. I ended up having a lot of, I called it all day sickness. But emotionally and spiritually, I felt wonderful. I just can't even explain it. And then after about 5 months, the sickness part, the physical sickness part went away. And I was just amazed at the magic of my body's ability to grow another human, to feel another person inside of me, to know that I had two beating hearts in my body, four lungs in my body, two brains in my body, that another living soul was moving around in my belly, was pushing and stretching and growing inside of me, was the most exquisite experience that I've ever had. And so the motherhood part of this woman's life, my life, was a wonderful, amazing thing that I felt so grateful for. And I have 2 children, a girl and a boy who are now a woman and a man. And I have always cherished them and felt that they were a blessing to me, never a burden. And I wish that all women could feel that way about motherhood and about their children, that their children are not a burden, they are a blessing. Now, I completely honor women who choose not to have children, and that is their choice, and that is their feeling of power in life, their expression of the mother phase of womanhood. And one time I was writing about the divine feminine, and I gathered a circle of my friends, and as we sat in the circle, I looked around and I was the only one that had children. It was very interesting. And my daughter was there. She was a teenager. And we were talking about the divine feminine, and we were talking about motherhood. And my daughter, who was 14, 15 at the time, said that all the women in the room felt like a mother to her. And it was such a great perspective, because we don't have to actually grow babies in our bodies and bring them into the world to have the mother energy. I have taught a goddess dance workshop where there's this beautiful dance. It's the mother goddess dance, and it's about planting the seed within and growing the baby and going into labor and nursing the baby and so forth. It's a poem. It's very beautiful. It's very powerful. But so many women that do this workshop don't have children, and many of them don't plan to have any children. But when they do this dance, they are totally in the energy of the mother. So whether or not you have children, it's about motherhood, like the great mother, right? As women, we can birth whatever we want into the world. It does not have to be actual children. It feels like the most important, the most powerful thing we can bring into the world, birth into the world, spread through the world is love. That divine motherly love, that nurturing essence that we have that we can share with other people. And that's that mother phase of life. And then we move into the crone phase. I know some people that just hate that word. They really hate that word. And so I tell them, well, think of it as the wise woman phase of life, right? Because the crone is the wise woman. So in ancient cultures, they believe that, the maiden didn't bleed. And then when she started bleeding, our culture having her period, then she became fertile, and then she moved into the mother potential of a woman's life. And then when she stopped bleeding, that meant she was containing that life force energy and retaining that energy in her body, which was also in their beliefs, it was the fertile ground for wisdom. So instead of having children and bringing children into the world and raising the children, now the woman was bringing knowledge into the world. She was the wise woman. She was the one who knew about the herbs, knew about the healing methods, knew about the moon phases and what they meant, and knew about the movement of the herds of animals, knew about the weather, could look at the sky and feel the air and know if it was going to rain or if it was going to be a hot day, and those kind of things. In current times, this isn't quite the same. Older women seem to have less value. I know many women my age feel invisible, and I don't feel invisible. I feel more visible than I've ever been in my life, but I also put a lot of effort into working with people and being of service to people and doing things that bring people together. I spend a lot of time and energy creating community among women. And so I don't just sit at home and stay quiet. I speak out, I speak up, I speak my truth. And I would like to encourage all women in the Crone stage to do the same. Don't stand in the shadows. Don't fall back into the shadows. You are more powerful than you've ever been, despite what our culture tells you. Do not listen to modern cultural conditioning. Are a powerful, powerful essence in the world now, and you have the ability to help make change, to help create change, to help bring the power of love and light into the world in a way that you haven't been able to do before, and to create change in a way that you haven't been able to do before. I have this one friend who is very arthritic and in a lot of pain and feels like she's used up and that she just doesn't have anything of value to offer anymore. And I told her, I didn't believe that. I don't believe that. She is such a wise woman, such a powerful wisdom resides within her. Her life experience is so unique and so complex and so amazing. She has so much to offer the world. And I told her that even if she was in a wheelchair, even if she was completely paralyzed, as long as she could talk, she could make a difference. Don't let anything hold you back. Age, infirmity, it doesn't matter, because you can make a difference at any age. So to me, the Crone stage has been the best stage. Part of me is like, oh, I'm getting older, and yeah, I have a lot of pain too because I'm arthritic, but I'm happier than I've ever been. Let me say that again. As a crone, I'm happier than I've ever been. I have had some great life experiences. I have 2 beautiful children, 3 beautiful grandchildren. I've been so blessed. I have loving friends. I'm meeting even more loving friends. And life is great. So, maiden, we all think, oh, I wish I was a maiden again. Not me. I shouldn't have said we all, because not me. But I hear that. I hear people say, oh, I wish I was back in high school, or I wish I was a maiden again, or whatever. Not me. Motherhood. Beautiful, powerful phase of life, but you still kind of don't know who you are. Crone, you know who you are. You know where you've been. You know where you're going. You know that you have a choice. You know that you can make different choices if you want. So, for all of you beautiful souls out there, all of you beautiful women out there, think about those phases of the triple goddess, the maiden, mother, and crone. Think about how they apply to your own life or how they apply to your friend's life. Look around you and see the power in the young women, which, by the way, I'm seeing more and more young women who are highly aware, and it's very exciting to me. And honor people who are in the motherhood phase, whether they choose to have children or choose not to have children. Look at what they are creating or manifesting in the world and how powerful they are. And then the crone. Honor the crone, honor her wisdom, because if you're not a crone, you will be at some point. And it's an important time in your life. It's a beautiful time. I love each and every one of you. I am so grateful and so blessed for all of the amazing women in my life. Hope you all have a wonderful week, and I hope that you find empowerment in whatever phase you are in as a woman, and that you find joy and aim for bliss. Thank you for joining me today. My mission is to help bring back the balance of the divine feminine to spirituality. Please share my podcast with anyone who might be interested in the divine feminine and personal empowerment. And if you'd like to connect with me further, feel free to reach out. You can email me at mezdelene@mezdelene.com. My website is mezdelene.com or Divine Feminine Rising with mezdelene.com. Mez Delene Bliss or Mez Delene on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Also, please join my mailing list if you'd like to receive my newsletter. Allow the light of your love to shine. Be the change. Lead the way. And always remember your light of love is a needed gift to the world that only you can give.